The choose function is one of these reference functions that solves the kind of problems that you might not really understand that you even have in the first place. It can paint over things that are a little bit more complicated to accomplish, but at the outset, it's kind of hard to see where you would use it. So let's take a look at the basic usage of choose and then a slightly more complicated scenario. Let's start with the fundamentals. The choose function accepts as its first argument an index number. Now, an index number starts at 1 and it goes up for as long as you want it to, up to 254. And after you put in that index number, you then put in the different values that would match that index number. So let's say, for example, you decide that you're going to handle between the numbers 1 and 8. You would put in that there's an index number, and then you would put in 8 possible values that could be returned with that index number. If you had 20 or 30 or 50, you would have to put in 20 or 30 or 50 different values that could be the return for a specific index number. It's for this reason that you don't generally see the choose function being used for that many possibilities. Usually it's 2 or 5 or maybe 10 at the top end. In this situation, we'll actually see it be used for 12, but you really wouldn't want to have to hand type too many values. A really simple example of this is, let's say you use the choose function and you put in either a 1 or a 2, and you give the values of Bob and Jane. Well, if you end up having a 2, then of course you're selecting Jane because Jane is the second option. Now let's see a real-world scenario where this could actually help us out. In this example, we have transaction dates, and we have a fiscal year that starts on July 1st. So we're going to decide to assign a fiscal quarter to each one of these dates, where January, February, and March are Q3, April, May, and June are Q4, July, August, and September are Q1, and October, November, and December are Q2. How do we accomplish this with the choose function? The first thing we're going to use is the month function. The month function is a function where we can insert a date and then close the parentheses here and hit enter, and it will return, of course, the number value of that month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, over here in the F column, we are going to use the choose function. And what we're going to say is that that month number is our index number, right? Starting at 1, and in this instance, going up to 12. So when we insert this choose function, we have to have all the possibilities covered up to 12. You don't have to go farther than 12 in this situation because, of course, there's not more than 12 months. So in cell F6, I go to the Formulas tab at the top of the screen. I go to the Lookup and Reference drop-down menu, and I find the choose function. I then insert the month number right over here in cell E6 as my index number, and then I have to specify 12 values. So what did I say? I said that So what was I saying? I was saying that January was actually Q3. So I will type in Q3 in quotation marks. I said that February was also Q3. I said that March was also Q3. I said that April was Q4. I said that May was Q4. I said that June was Q4. Then I said that July was Q1. So was August. So was September. And that October, November, and December were all Q2. So if you notice here, When we use the choose function, we actually have to specify a value for every unique integer that's between 1 and whatever the number is we choose as the top end. So here we've chosen to put in 12 unique values for those 12 possibilities for the index number. So if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, there are probably functions that could handle ranges that would oftentimes be more efficient, you are absolutely correct. Choose is for those scenarios where you have a limited number of possibilities. So here I click the OK button and I autofill it down, and in fact it did a really nice job of assigning Q1, 2, 3, and 4 to each of those values. Now, choose is very often used in conjunction with other functions. So, for example, choose is capable of returning not just a single value, but it can actually return a range of cells. So sometimes what people do is they will use the choose function to say, in certain situations, let's use this range of cells, and in other situations, let's use a different range of cells. And one way to accomplish that is by nesting the match function into the choose function. The match function will go and find a value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it will provide that to the choose function, which will then select the appropriate range. Let's see this one in action as well. So in this scenario, the first thing you need to realize is that in cell Z6, I have a drop-down menu that has the names of the different columns on it. The visitors column, the number of purchases, the units sold, the total sales, etc. So by using this drop-down menu and choosing rent and utilities, for example, I'm able to say, I would really like you to grab the V column. That's the idea here. By using this drop-down menu, I can specify which column I want to add up. Now, how would I accomplish that? Well, here, the first thing I'm going to do is go to cell Z7. I'm going to use my formulas tab and use the basic sum function. From the math and trig drop-down menu, I find the sum function. And the number that I'm going to add up is not any individual references here just yet. Instead, I am going to choose the appropriate column to add. So how am I going to do that? Of course, with the choose function. I type the word choose and open the parentheses. Now to complete the choose function, I take my mouse and I click on the word choose up here at the top of the screen, and I see that now it's asking me what the index number is. Now this is going to be found by using the match function. The match function is going to return a number representing where the entry is that I'm looking for. So here I'm going to type in MATCH, open the parentheses, and then I'm going to go to the formula bar at the top of the screen and click on the word match. Okay, so what is the lookup value? The lookup value is going to be this entry in cell Z6 I was showing you a moment ago. I want to use the word visitors to figure out which column I'm talking about. Now, where is the lookup array that could contain the word visitors? Here, I'm going to highlight from cell P5 across to cell W5. So visitors is one of these columns right here. I don't know which one yet, but the match function should help me out with that. However, if you pay attention right here, you'll notice that the match function at first is completely crazy. It gives me the number 8. And this is because the match function requires a 0 in the match type field in order to say I want to find an exact match. So there it is. I am looking for the word visitors in P5 through W5. I'm looking for an exact match, and right now I can see that it's in position 1, the first column. Now I'm going to take my mouse and click back onto the choose function up here at the top of the screen, and now all I have to do is for every possible match, I need to highlight the appropriate column. So value 1. If it's value 1, that'll be the visitors column. So I come in here for value 1 and I highlight all the cells in the visitors column. In this case, that's P6 through P72. And then value 2, I come in and I say, oh, that's the Q column, Q6 through Q72. And the third possibility is R6 through R72, and the fourth. And you'll notice here you have to use the scroll bar to go down a little ways to get the fifth possibility, the sixth possibility, seventh, and finally the eighth possibility. And that's our match function and choose function working together for us. I now take my mouse and click back onto the sum function up here at the top of the screen, and I can see that the match function has identified visitors and that the choose function has said if you're choosing visitors, then this is the column with the visitors in it. I click OK. You see there that I have that first number value. And when I use the visitors drop-down menu and I specify units sold, I get a different number. And when I choose rent and utilities, I get a different number. And when I choose additional costs, I get yet another number. So this is a scenario where the choose function can help us. If we have a limited number of possibilities that each can be defined with a number value, then it can switch between those options based on what you feed into it. So here we've nested the sum, choose, and match functions together to get a really interesting little tool for ourselves.